Here we go. Is it good?
Yes.
All right. All right, so I'm going to talk about assignment 1. Okay, assignment 1. That's out of module 1. Okay, module 1 of the textbook. This is, I think it's case problem 1 of module 1. Is Excel. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. And the file you're going to save it as will be trucking. So we have about 20 some data set for what they call travel log, right? And drivers, and then they starting from one point to another, so that you calculate the miles, and then you have number of hours driven, gallons of gas, price per gallon, so that you can calculate the total fuel purchase. Okay, so that's the first few steps that you need to go through, right? So let me just change the view, which is the formula view, so that you see the formula at column I. Right? Again, we are talking about module 1, and this is part of assignment, and the data file will be trucking. So we go over that file. Anyway, so to find the mile between beginning mile, ending mile, so you're going to take the ending mile and subtract it, right? So H5 minus G5 will give you how many miles actually driven, okay? And make sure you have the correct number, because if you subtract the other way around, you will have a negative number, obviously, right? So I think some students having issue with this, how you're going to subtract one to another. So vice versa, then you have whole numbers mixed up. So make sure you subtract it, the ending or later part, okay, not the beginning part, or earlier in terms of dates, okay. And same thing with the year. So this year, next year, how are you going to find whether it's increase or decrease? Then you just take the later year, which is the next year, minus this year. So that'll give you the correct number. Otherwise, your number will be incorrect, right? So pay attention to that, even though it's small, but your number will be wrong, right? If you got wrong numbers here, then it'll mess up everything on your worksheets. So it's very important you get the right formula. And number of hours in J is given, gallons are given, and price per gallon is given, so that we can find the total fuel purchase in column N. So all I'll do is just multiply those two numbers. Number of gallons by price per gallon. Right? Then you're going to do the autofill, of course, just autofill. Or just move your mouse over to the corner, then double click. Then it'll autofill all the way down up to the last cell the data set has. Okay, so. All right. So that's the main part. And if you move on to column B, you have some statistical summary in terms of how many days driving. So the step in the page asks you to use the count function. So you're going to use the count function in column D, which is mileage. And the hours of driving, total hours driving using J. Then average hours per day, then ask you to use division this time because you have total number of driving, then number of days of driving. So you have two numbers, then you divide hours of driving by days of driving. It'll give you average. The other way you can do is just use the average function, right, on the J. All right, total expenses. The instruction says use the total expenses combining total fuel purchase and toll amount and miscellaneous. So you need to add N, P, Q. Okay, those three columns. So that'll be your total expenses. So you can use just sum of those, like N5 plus, all the way to that. Or because this is summary, then you should use the sum. Otherwise, your formula will be pretty messy. So that's why reason you're using sum, comma, and separate by comma, then you have a P to Q. And it's pretty straightforward in terms of using sum for fuel expenses and other expenses. Then you have same thing using sum for gallons consumed and total driven miles. Then finally those two cells using miles per gallon, so that you use the B14, which is total miles, then divide by gallon used. So that's what we have in B15. And B16, that's the total cost per mile, so that you use the total expenses up here. So that's the amount you use, dollar amount, then you divide by B14, which is total miles driven. Well, the directions are all there. So all we did was just move it to the formula format in Excel, okay? Any questions about this? Any questions? Nope. All right. Let me close this one. And the other one we have, case problem 2 will be let me make sure this is the correct one. All right. Yeah. There you go. So okay, this time we have some company's employment information in terms of names and department, report date, hire date, and days of employment. So we need to find the days of employment. That's the steps that we need to follow. So you need to find the difference between the report date and hire date, okay? Because report dates occur later. So you take that and subtract hire date, okay? That's the direction, okay? But that's not always the case, right? Some people are hired later, right? I'm sorry, that was 21, okay. I read it wrong. 20, even though the month is just later than July, some of those are occur like 21, 22, okay. So report days always comes later in this example. So that's why we have subtracted like that. H5 minus I5, so it'll give you how many days employed. Then we have base salary, bonus, sick days, performance, rating. The higher should be better. Okay, so that's why we have. Let's see why we have it. Anything at the bottom? Let me go. No, they're all the same. So let's go up. All right, then we have same structure. We have a summary of those statistics using count and count number of employees. Column I will be counted. Okay. Well, it doesn't have to be date. Okay. When you use count function, you can use any column that use number. For example, you can use the count on this date or J, K, as long as those are the numbers. But you cannot use count function on names. Okay. So that's something different from other, probably other packages. Okay. So that's why you are using I, but you could have used H, of course. Then you'll give the same number. Anyway, there you go. B5, B6, that's the average days of employment. So again, using J this time, right? J. Okay. Total number of days, then divide by number of employees we found on B4. Okay. And average years for employment, and then take that B6 and divide by 365.25. Again, the directions is given in the step. Okay. So then using sum on column K, then average base salary, which is take the B9 divided by B4 because that's the total number of employees. Then bonus, total bonuses in L, average bonus, again, same thing, take the bonus divided by number of employees. Then total compensation is defined as total base salary and total bonuses. Okay. Then average compensation, again, take that amount in B13 and divide by number of employees. Then sick days is in column M, then average, then you divide by number of employees again. And the last one, B19, you have average and performance rating in column N, finding average using total number of employees. So that's divided by B4. Okay. Any questions? No question? It seems pretty simple, pretty easy for you guys, right? And hopefully we have more challenging questions in assignment 2. I think we have a little bit more challenging questions, assignment 2, which is module 2. And module 3 obviously is a little more challenging as we move on. All right. Any questions about module 1 or any comments? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
I have a question. So when I clicked on the second assignment or not the second assignment, but for the first assignment for module 1,
Mhm.
it has the report dates as 2021 instead of 2025.
Right. You mean the data file is not
The
same as the book?
It's not. So whenever I was working in it, it said to put, I think it was like 7/1/2025, and I was a little confused because all the other report dates said, for example, 7/31/2021.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure I get the latest file. Probably I used the previous version, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna make sure that I have the latest data file from this version.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me know. All right, because every few years we change the new edition, so I think I forgot to update the data file. I think in the similar note, you probably noticed that the data file I used in the video tutorial may not be matched with the textbook, but it's not really significant. Just like she said, date may not be matched or amount may not match, but the formulas, basic skills are exactly the same. But if you have any questions or kind of confused, let me know so that I can fix it. Anything else? Any questions from our campus student? Any update on snow on campus? You got a lot of snow? Or they're already gone?
It's still there.
Okay. Okay. All right. So looks like we are pretty much online all the way through Thursday and Friday, right? So. All right. It looks like you guys are good. But again, don't hesitate or don't try to do yourself. If you have any problems, just let me know. Okay, you need to let me know so that you can just save your time and you can do it correct. Okay, so all right, then I'll see you next time.